Tim's News Explosion. 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 Tim's News Explosion.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Tim's News Explosion on this Monday, the 22nd of July, 2024. We are live on the Wilms Front YouTube channel. I hope there was a bit of an issue with getting the YouTube live link up. I see that Tricky Woo is already in the chat to give. Is that a thumbs up or it's, well, great to see you there. I wondered whether it's because tonight's title contained the term a bullet in it. Obviously, Biden biting the bullet, that's a metaphor for him withdrawing, which we're going to obviously lead with. Also, as always on, well, there's no issues on Odyssey and Rumble, certainly on free speech, but sometimes they can have a bit of a technical hitch up. It is 9 p.m. here in Melbourne, Victoria, and it just looked like everything was getting back to normal this past weekend after the Trump assassination attempt. Then there was the Republican National Convention, and now Trump's back doing rallies. And then, of course, it's like if you're out and about just at the shops, it's like the Crowdstrike update misfire, crashing Microsoft software systems worldwide, unless, of course, you had a domestic or international flight. But it also affected banking, retail, and even some hospital and government systems there. But don't worry, it wasn't a hack, a cyber attack. It was just incompetence. But overnight Australian time, or broke early morning Australian time, President Joe Biden dropped out of the 2024 presidential race, announcing he would not be seeking re-election. This is his address from the Oval Office.
My fellow Americans, I want to take a moment to address some of the hateful shit you've been talking about me. Many of you have said I am suffering from brain worms, or that I have applesauce for brains. Well, I won't mince words, so here it is. Fuck you. You're all a bunch of faggots. End of quote. Repeat the line. So enjoy President Cackles or President Booty Juice. I really don't give two fucks anymore. Biden out.
Obviously, that is an hilarious deep fake. Joe Biden hasn't been seen at all since, well, it was announced on X that from his Twitter X account that he would not be seeking re-election, and it wasn't even on his official White House letterhead. So obviously he didn't write it. So he goes blah 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 that he claims that America has the strongest economy, but it says that it goes down here that it has been the greatest honor of my life to serve as your president, and while it has been my intention to seek re-election, I believe it is the best interest of my party and the country for me to stand down and focus solely on fulfilling my duties as president for the remainder of my term. I will speak to the nation later this week in more detail about my decision. For now, let me express my deepest gratitude to all of those who have worked so hard to see me re-elected. I want to thank Vice President Kamala Harris for being an extraordinary partner in all this work. And let me express my heartfelt appreciation to the American people for the faith and trust you have placed in me. I believe today what I always have, that there is nothing America can't do. When we do it together, we just have to remember we are the United States of America. And that's apparently his signature on it there. People have already been doing signature analysis, and it looks a bit different there. This is sort of old style detective work, matching signatures like they did in the olden days before a DNA. But of course, probably his digital signature is on file. I remember watching Commander in Chief. That was when Gina Davis was the president. They had in the White House set up a automatic signature machine. So because there was lots of things that the president had to sign, so it was just this like automation process, and boy, they probably used that with Biden as president. Of course, this is Biden's most hardcore supporters. They are, of course, utterly humiliated. The worst of all is Biden's Gen Z shill, Harry Sisson, who basically sold his soul to ride with Biden, along with his friend Chris Murray. And I'm not sure if you've seen some of the most recent roasting of Harry Sisson.
Do you think that this guy is voting for Trump or Biden?
I think that guy's a faggot.
It was cut off there, but he says, I reckon that guy's a faggot. Now, Harry Sisson has denied that he's gay. So has his mate Chris Murray. Just because Harry Sisson, he's a clear soy boy, but there's a bit of hope for Chris Murray because, well, he trains at the gym. He might get his T levels up, and so may see the light. Stump for whoever the MAGA Republican nominee is in the future. But I do feel sorry in a way for Harry Sisson because, well, he sold his soul and he got humiliated. Like Katy Perry, for example, she successfully sold her soul for money and fame. I mean, all of those videos that Harry Sisson made shilling for Biden, they're going to be online for the rest of his life. Obviously, we expect that the Democrat politicians they lie as when their lips open. And so, of course, when they said that they were backing Joe Biden for re-election, of course, a lot of them didn't really mean it. They were just, and we saw constant leaks to the media the past week about how Biden was finally reconsidering, that Chuck Schumer, the Democrat Senate Majority Leader, went to visit him to ask him to step down, and it seemed like that Chuck Schumer intervention might have been the pivotal factor. Barack Obama and Nancy Pelosi had been lobbying behind the scenes for Biden to step down, but the word was Biden certainly wasn't having it. He said, to, I think it was Lester Holt or George Stephanopoulos, one of those, that only the Lord Almighty could tell me to stand aside as president and not seek re-election. Well, maybe the Lord, I'm not a Christian, but maybe he did see the Lord in his sleep. And maybe it was some sort of ruse that they did because he's isolating at his Delaware home because he's got COVID for the third time. And, well, apparently him getting through COVID, it's just like Trump surviving an assassination, according to Joy Reid over at MSDNC. So maybe they had some elaborate ruse where the Lord would come to Joe Biden in a dream and tell him not to seek re-election. Iron Duke 99 says, "I wonder who wrote that. It sure was not senile Biden." Well, obviously, he's going to get lots of rest if he is going to make a statement to the nation later this week. I mean, it was getting just so much worse. Remember I think it peaked at the NATO summit where he said "fuck your wife," and then called President Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine President Putin of Ukraine. And then, of course, was his press conference where he called Donald Trump his vice president, and then he forgot the name of his defense secretary, Lloyd Austin, the black one. if he'd made a statement to the nation announcing his support for Kamala Harris, he'd say the black woman. And of course, even though Kamala Harris she's not African American, she's half Indian American, as in India, not Native American, and also half Afro-Caribbean. But according to to get the votes of the real African Americans, she's now black. But also Barack Obama wasn't a proper African American. I mean, his father was born in Kenya. His mother was a white Hawaiian woman. So he wasn't the descendant of slaves, and obviously married Michelle, or some people say Big Mike, to fit in with the Chicago blacks and black himself up so that he could sell himself as an African American, even though he is half white. Now, Kamala Harris, her husband is a white Jew. She has no children of her own, Kamala Harris. She has 2 stepchildren. So Douglas Emhoff is Kamala Harris's husband, the second gentleman or second dude. So he has 2 children from a previous marriage, and Kamala Harris says she's mamala to them. And now this is not a deep fake. This was a while back. Kamala Harris on the Drew Barrymore show, and I'll play the footage, but asked Kamala to be mamala.
Thinking in my head that we all need a mom. I've been thinking that we really all need a tremendous hug in the world right now. Yeah. But in our country, we need you to be mamala of the country. And as a woman who respects so much and wants to share and wants to be confident and has no ounce of me that has competitiveness, when we lift each other up, we all rise.
That's exactly right. That's right. That's right. That's right.
However, we need a great protector.
Yeah.
Nobody thought that Drew Barrymore could top in the cringe levels. Her show with Dylan Mulvaney, where she got on her knees in front of Dylan there, but it got worse. Bayaki says that cringeworthy, we need a new word. Puke-worthy. You saw that even Kamala Harris, it was even too much for her. And of course, she is famous for her inane word salad blather. And of course, Twitter X has just been awash with all of Kamala Harris's greatest hits and also greatest cackles as well. I won't play all the cackles because, well, I don't want to basically make your ears bleed like Donald Trump. It's like her voice is like has a blasting effect on your ears. Her laugh, I should say. But this is some of her word salad.
Remember Venn diagrams, those 3 circles, right? And then let's just see where they overlap. You will not be surprised because I have constructed a Venn diagram on this. Remember those 3 circles, how they overlap? I love Venn diagrams, so I just do. Whenever you're dealing with conflict, pull out a Venn diagram, right? And so, you know, the three circles. The television coverage of just yesterday, that's on top of everything else that we know and don't know yet, based on what we've just been able to see. And because we've seen it or not doesn't mean it hasn't happened, but just limit it to what we have seen. For us at every moment in time, and certainly this one, to see the moment in time in which we exist and are present. I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know?
6 former administration officials last week wrote that open letter urging the administration to change course, to change strategy. Is it time?
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. Every day it is time for us to agree.
Our Supreme Court is on the line. Our basic freedoms are being tested, Madam VP. I know you've been traveling across the country. What are you hearing?
Yeah, girl, I'm out here in these streets. And let me tell you, you're right, Taraji. There is so much at stake in this moment. The majority of us believe in freedom and equality. But these extremists, as they say, they're not like us.
They not.
So that final conversation she had with actress Taraji P. Henson, she has been given the credit for having Trump disavow Project 2025, and Trump gave Project 2025 his biggest slapdown of all at his most recent rally at Grand Rapids in Michigan.
And you know, the other side's going around trying to make me sound extreme, like I'm an extremist. I'm not. I'm a person with great common sense. I'm not an extremist at all. Like some on the right, severe right, came up with this Project 25, and I don't even know. I mean, some of them I know who they are, but they're very, very conservative, just like you have. They're sort of the opposite of the radical left, okay? You have the radical left and you have the radical right, and they come up with this, I don't know what the hell it is, it's Project 25. He's involved in Project, and then they read some of the things and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. But what they do is misinformation and disinformation.
I told you all last week that Trump had assassinated Project 2025, led by the Heritage Foundation, and it's got another 100 various conservative groups attached to it, 900 pages. And obviously Trump, he does it. One of the other reasons he's probably disavowing it is it's an ego thing, because he doesn't want other people believing that they can write his policies, and also probably views, even though he's praised Heritage publicly in the past, that they're a bunch of DC grifters, elites, probably thinking that as well, and a bunch of bootlickers that they probably they're looking for jobs in the administration there. I mean, what else can Trump do? Can he to say how much he hates Project 2025? Like, bring a copy of it and basically put a dagger through it, like Tom Riddle's diary in the Chamber of Secrets. But one of the things that's not mentioned in the Democrats' attacks on Project 2025 is that it proposes to ban pornography, which, I mean, the Democrats support degeneracy, but they don't want to make it really open. They don't want to make it that they support public gay fetish piss pools. And obviously, if pornography was banned, then it would make unemployed the new MAGA spokeswoman who announced herself at the DNC, the OnlyFans model, which is just another word for a porn star, and Slutwalk founder Amber Rose. Did you see her MAGA rap? that has been put together to the tune of Vanilla Ice.
We voting Donald Trump, baby. America needs saving. America needs saving. We voting Trump, baby. November 5th, we going crazy. November 5th, we going crazy. Now I pledge allegiance to vote for Trump. There's a red wave coming, you gon' surf for what? And God I trust to take the devil away. Lock Joe Biden up and throw the key away.
And of course, that wasn't the only celebrity endorsement that Donald Trump got, the RNC. Of course, there was Hulk Hogan on the final night in prime time.
And I said, let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
And also on the final night, a Kid Rock performed a Trump version of his song American Badass. And I noticed that he bleeped out the shit, the profanity in his lyrics, because it was broadcast on network TV. And if you swear on US network TV, you get like a $1 gazillion fine from the FCC. But whatever profanity smut can be put on the internet and Netflix and Twitter X, it's the US has always been very weird like that. And of course, Trump, before his longest acceptance speech in a presidential convention history, he went for over an hour. He was introduced by Dana White, the president of the UFC, the Ultimate Fighting League. And this is the thing that's different with Donald Trump in 2024. More celebrities are coming out in support, believing that, it's now the cool thing to back Donald Trump, not Joe Biden. And of course, there's a whole lot of tech billionaires who are now behind Donald Trump. Bill Ackman, of course, Peter, is it pronounced Thiel or Thiel? The PayPal founder, and of course, Elon Musk, who's giving Trump $45 million a month to one of his PACs. And they haven't always had, obviously, Donald Trump has had a lot of up and down relationships with other public figures, and Elon Musk is not one of them. Previously said that Elon Musk got down on his knees to beg for subsidies, but now Trump loves Elon. I mean, I certainly Elon has been a rent seeker in the past, but we all love it with Tesla. But certainly all of us love what he did turning Twitter into X.
But Elon endorsed me the other day, and I didn't even know this. He didn't even tell me about it. But he gives me $45 million a month. A month. Not 45 million. Gives me 45 million a month. And I talked to him just a little while ago to say I was coming here, how you doing? And he didn't even mention it. He didn't mention. I mean, other guys, they give you $2 and you got to take them to lunch. You got to wine them, dine them. No, he's a great guy, he really is.
And now, of course, there's still big corporates and big celebrities behind the Democrats. So they were holding their money until Joe Biden withdrew. Obviously, there was the intervention by George Clooney, who said that Biden, he was forgetful and needed help out of his fundraiser. And also, Alexander Soros has come out in support of Kamala Harris. So, and if he is now the public face of the Soros family, recently proposed to Uma Abedin, and if that name sounds familiar, that was Hillary Clinton's closest advisor, who, of course, was previously married to Anthony Weiner, a convicted child sex offender who spent time in prison. Even though now Uma Abedin is a Muslim, and even though her first marriage to a Jewish Democrat ended very badly, she's decided to marry another prominent Jewish Democrat. So I guess there is hope with having peace in the Israel-Palestine conflict. If Alexander Soros and Uma Abedin can come together, then I think there is hope in the world. Now, we've had the Clintons come out to support Kamala Harris, and also that means that Hillary's not going to try and seek the nomination. So the Democrats' National Convention is in Chicago on August 19 to 2022. Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, is also throwing his support behind Kamala. And also, we have had Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary, and of course ran for president in 2020. The Mayor Pete, South Bend, Indiana, but who hasn't come out for Kamala yet, as the Obamas. Maybe that Michelle Obama, Big Mike, wants to seek the nomination, and also Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer haven't come out for Kamala Harris yet. But it does seem that all of the Democrat supporters has just transferred over to her. Now, of course, another one of Kamala Harris's most cringe videos as well is, of course, the pronoun video.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome these leaders for coming in to have this very important discussion about some of the most pressing issues of our time. I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit. And
now, who could be Kamala Harris's VP? Because as you can see there, she is extremely woke. And so the thinking is to have a moderate Democrat governor or senator to be her running mate. And so I don't think it would be Pete Buttigieg or the Maryland governor Wes Moore. Well, because Wes Moore is also black. Would they have a all black ticket, or would they want to balance it out with a white governor or senator? So there's North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper. That North Carolina is sometimes a swing state. There is a Kentucky governor, Andy Beshear. There is Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. There is the Pennsylvania governor, Josh Shapiro, who, of course, like Ben Shapiro, is Jewish, but there is no relation. Josh Shapiro has very visible Jewish schnoz as well. CNN was saying, would that alienate some Democrat progressives and Muslims if Kamala Harris picked a Jew to be the vice president? Al Gore picked Joseph Lieberman to be his running mate, a senator from Connecticut, who would have been the first Jewish American vice president, but of course lost to Bush Cheney. Also, another swing state option is the governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, who I called the Wicked Witch of the Midwest because of her COVID control freak policies. And remember, there was because she was being criticized for her COVID response, the FBI set up a kidnapping plot. They got some FBI informants to rile some people up, then arrest them. So don't criticize Gretchen because you're inspiring these radical kidnappers. And when Donald Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance, rolled into to Rapid Falls, Michigan, she decided to record this very very unsettling welcome video.
Welcome to Michigan, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. Here are 3 things you should know about our great state. 1, here we protect reproductive freedom. We're not interested in your national abortion ban. 2, we always find ways to put money back in Michiganders' pockets by lowering the cost of prescription drugs, education, housing, and so much more. And 3, we're a proud union state, and UAW workers here still remember when Donald Trump broke his promises to Michigan workers. Oh, and one more thing. Michigan is going to reject your extreme Project 2025 agenda. Have a good trip.
She reminds me of Gretchen Wieners from Mean Girls, who, of course, was played by Lacey Chabet. And and of course, what she said there, accusing Trump and Vance of, again, mentioning Project 2025, one of Trump's most senior campaign officials, say Chris La Civita, told Politico that Project 2025 is they're a pain in the ass, he put it as. And of course, Trump has run completely away from the abortion issue, says he's not going to sign a 15-week national abortion limit. And Michigan is a number of states now that has a constitutional amendment that makes it so that abortion can never be extremely limited. So it's on the ballot this election cycle in Florida and South Dakota. But ever since the overturning of Roe versus Wade, the pro-abortionists have won every single statewide ballot, even in places like Montana and Nebraska, and also Ohio, which is the home state of Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance. And he has said that he is not going to touch the abortion at all. Now, of course, J.D. Vance, he came to a prominence. Now, J.D. stands for James David, and he entered the public sphere when he published his memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, which talks about his upbringing in Middleton, Ohio, and his grandparents were from Kentucky's Alpachia. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Now, his memoir was turned into a movie directed by Ron Howard, which has Amy Adams portraying JD's drug-addicted mother, Bev, and Glenn Close playing his mama, who raised him because of his mum's substance issues. It's on Netflix, the movie. So, as directed by Ron Howard, who made Apollo 13, The Da Vinci Code, it's made a whole heap of these big blockbuster movies. You can watch it on Netflix. I watched it last night, and you really hate JD's mother, Bev, for putting him through that childhood. So her behavior was destructive. She was selfish. She take it all out on her children, and which, of course, that is, of course, traumatizing to a little boy, and of course his older sister there. But he enrolled in the Marine Corps, served in Iraq, and then studied at Ohio State University. Then became a lawyer, got a law degree at Yale University, that's where he met his wife, Aisha, who, she's Indian American. She was born in America and it has birthright citizenship, though her parents migrated from India. Now, even though JD he converted to Catholicism, he was raised evangelical, she is a Hindu. So, and their children, one of them is named Vivek, which is the same name that of Vivek Ramaswamy, he was also from Ohio, who ran for president in 2024. There's rumors that when JD is elected vice president, Vivek Ramaswamy will be appointed to fill the Senate vacancy. He gave a shout out to his mother Bev in the crowd. She's 10 years sober, clean from drug abuse, which is excellent. But obviously, JD carried a lot of scars from his childhood. And it's obviously Trump selected him because, to contrast him with Trump inherited a lot of wealth from his father, Fred Trump, while JD had to get himself out from abject poverty. He is very successful in law and business now. But a lot of people from where he grew up, many of them are no longer with us. They've overdosed on fentanyl and other opioids. Some of the other speakers at the convention were mothers who children had died from fentanyl overdoses or had been murdered by illegal immigrants. And of course, there was the display during Trump's acceptance speech was the immigration chart that he credited with saving his life, which shows after Biden took office the huge increase in illegal immigrants. But you can see the if you're watching this, not listening to it, the massive yellow there is single adults, single males. The blue is families, and the red is minors. So as you can see, there were still illegals coming over when Trump was president, but there was more families coming over. But as you can see under Biden, it's overwhelmingly single adults there. And also in his acceptance speech, he also attacked the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, saying that the reason why his country's safe again is because he's emptied out the prisons and sent them over to the United States. I think I'm pronouncing his name properly. Now, Bukele didn't bite at all. He just fobbed it off. Some people are saying that Trump's criticism of him is out of jealousy because he has made El Salvador safe again. Although Trump hasn't attacked Javier Milei for crushing inflation in Argentina, ending the recession and balancing the budget. Though, of course, Trump has no interest in balancing the budget or curtailing entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. That's another reason why he doesn't like Project 2025, because it has a lot of limited government proposals in it. And JD Vance, he is not a limited government person. He is he's pro union, and it was part of this realignment of the Republican to a working class party that aims, because the Republican Party of the past, it was all about, well, they said they're about small government and also social conservatism. And of course, Trump also not only gutted abortion from the GOP platform, but also their support for marriage, one man, one woman. So the Trump MAGA party, it supports welfare, protectionism, is socially moderate. It's the MAGA Republican Party now. The old GOP is completely dead, and so there was no Bushes or Cheneys at the RNC. There was no Mike Pence, that's for sure. No Mitt Romney, and no Paul Ryan. And Mitch McConnell was booed when he read out Kentucky's delegate pledges. And of course, he's finally retiring as Senate minority leader. Of course, remember, he had his press conference mid-freezes twice there. So Nancy Pelosi now, she speaks like she's drunk all the time. It's I'm not sure if you listen to her now, but yes, she is definitely on the decline as well. Now, obviously, what us here in Australia, what matters to us about the future direction of the United States is because when the United States intervenes, whether it's in Europe, the Middle East, or Africa, then the whole of the rest of the Western world follows America. They've traditionally been the world's policemen. And of course, the Republican Party traditionally has kept up the military industrial complex. Obviously, the Bush-Cheney years, war in Afghanistan, war in Iraq. And now with Trump Vance, you are going to see an end to the war in Ukraine. Trump said he'd solve it in 24 hours. JD Vance has been much more blunt about what he thinks of Ukraine.
I think it's ridiculous that we're focused on this border in Ukraine. I got to be honest with you. I don't really care what happens to Ukraine one way or another.
But JD Vance, of course, when it comes to Israel, he is happy to assist Israel in using US military weapons and personnel against Israel's adversaries, such as Iran. This is what he was talking with Hannity at the RNC.
A lot of people recognize that we need to do something with Iran, but not these weak little bombing runs. If you're going to punch the Iranians, you punch them hard, and that's what he did when he took out Soleimani. By the way, that action, people said that it would lead to broader war. It actually brought peace. It actually checked the Iranians and slowed them down a little bit. But let me just say something about this Iran issue, because maybe the most important diplomatic breakthrough of the Trump administration was the Abraham Accords. If you want to check Iran, the way to do it is to, one, withdraw their oil money, which of course Joe Biden's been bad about, but you've also got to enable the Israelis and the Sunni Arab states to work together and actually provide a counterbalance to Iran. Joe Biden has done nothing. You have the infrastructure there, sitting there, to weaken Iran, to strengthen our ally Israel. Joe Biden's done nothing with it. Donald Trump would reinvigorate it. I think.
And no more wars for Israel. And America first means putting America first, not Israel first. But it appears that Trump Vance is not going to budge on that, and this is why Nick Fuentes, host of America First, is not going to vote for Donald Trump, and also his disavowal of Project 2025 and the hiring of personnel to replace the deep state there. Now, obviously, it's underwhelming, a lot of Trump's Agenda 47, but I still think that he is better than all of the other Republicans who ran for president in 2024. Nikki Haley, she gave Trump a 100% endorsement. I also think that Trump is better than Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, because he was very flip-floppy on foreign policy, particularly Ukraine. And we all processed it yet, how we came with 1/4 of an inch of losing President Trump, and then it would be the rhinos would be able to take back over. That's why there's the theory that the assassination attempt could have been organized by the rhino establishment. We still don't know much about the assassin, Thomas Matthew Crooks. It's being hypothesized that he hated all politicians because he also Googled Biden and the RNC. So we found out that his because they got into his phone, that his last online search was for porn. We don't know what type of porn that was. We know that Thomas Matthew Crooks, he purchased the ammunition himself, but borrowed his father's gun. He took the day off work and said he'd be there tomorrow. Crooks's parents, who are both behavioral therapists, I don't think anyone will be going to them for help anymore, given what their son has done. So they believe that he's taken one of his father's RA-15s and gone to a local shooting range. But later on, they became worried and called the police. He was found with a remote detonator next to a cell phone, but we are saying that we're told that that was for detonating the explosives in his car. It wasn't for communicating with somebody who was telling him what to do. There's obviously still a lot of theories that he could have been brainwashed by MK Ultra. That he is a patsy. There's the conspiracy theory about that there was a second shooter on the water tower. But this is the most filmed presidential assassination attempt ever, because we're living in the digital age. There were people who were filming the rally, and then of course the assassination happened. They accused one of the ladies behind of being an assistant FBI director, which was not true. Obviously, there is Blue Anon, who believe that Trump staged the assassination attempt, and they've been going on about his ear bandage being so unnecessary. And I liked Jim Bob's cartoon. The people still wearing masks. Trump's ear bandage was so unnecessary, and yet they're still wearing masks to protect themselves from various respiratory viruses. And of course, masks, it's been proven that they don't work against respiratory viruses. I did think it was a bit much for attendees at the RNC to wear the ear bandages in solidarity. Trump's now got a smaller ear bandage, now doesn't cover his whole ear. I like it, but they claim I'm not sure if it's confirmed, but apparently, according to the doctor who treated Trump, he didn't need stitches. So they're claiming that it's a prop, the bandage there. I thought maybe he would during his acceptance speech rip it off in dramatic fashion. Now he did. Corey Commentore's family sent his Buffalo firefighter's uniform, which Trump hugged, and did he kiss it as well? I can't remember. And they were saying, "Oh, it was spelt wrong," but that's because the Buffalo fire department they couldn't have enough letters there, and it was sent by the family. Corey kept it. He was. He sadly, of course, it lost his life. There were 2 that were injured. Now, it's like I said, for those blue anons who think it was staged or Trump, what is that? They claim that he went down underneath to put some ketchup on his ear. That's what they're claiming here. Like I said, most filmed presidential assassination attempts. Now, I'm sure you've seen the animation where just shows how Trump tilting his head to turn at that chart saved his life. He was so lucky, and the fact that that all the shots missed and just pierced his ear. Incredibly lucky, but this is the most comprehensive animation that has been put out so far. Have I got it here? I think I've got it here. Have I got it here?
This is the area we're going to focus in on. Here you can see the 3 victims that were injured by gunfire and where they were standing in the bleachers. We're going to turn around and demonstrate exactly where these bullets came from. This model represents Thomas Crooks. His position can be seen here in this image, which illustrates exactly where he was. Turning around, we can see the path of all the bullets that were fired from this location. I placed a 10-foot red disc downrange to represent what an average shooter could hit easily. Now let's take a look at this first shot fired. Coming from our key location, bullet 1 grazes President Trump's ear. This is the same bullet that hits a spectator in the stands. We know this through video evidence. As President Trump is talking, the first shot rings out just after he says, "Take a look at what happened."
Something that said, "Take a look at what happened."
We can see the vapor trail of a bullet strike, which is the same bullet that struck President Trump's ear a split second earlier, and this video is this location here. Back at the podium, President Trump is shot and grabs his ear, falling to the ground as more shots rang out. In total, there were 7 or 8 shots, so let's rewind and watch this at regular speed.
Take a look at what happened.
With all that gunfire, it's easy to understand how these spectators were injured, even though they were not the target, including the sole spectator who lost his life that day.
As you can see, Trump was so lucky that only one, like you saw the bullets go all around him, only one pierced his ear. Now, a lot of Republicans claimed that it was divine intervention. Even Trump said that God was protecting him. And did anyone see it went viral just after the assassination attempt? This pastor, Brandon Biggs, prophesies the assassination attempt.
Bringing back America. Because the Lord told me, he said, I am not done with America. Amen. He said, there's going to be a new wave of patriotism coming out. And that's whenever I saw Trump and I saw a red wave coming out of Michigan. And then I saw Oklahoma, and there was embers of people, and they were all on they had torches all throughout Oklahoma, and they were raising up these torches that looked like fire, and they were bringing forth a new patriotism upon the nation. And it was being birthed, and it just kept spreading like fire all throughout America, all throughout. And I saw Trump rising up, and then I saw an attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And I saw he fell to his knees during this time frame, and he started worshiping the Lord. He got radically born again during this time frame. I'm talking, people say he's saved now, but he becomes really on fire for Jesus, for what I saw coming. And then I saw people interceding I saw him winning the presidency through great. The Lord showed me it would go clear into the summer. Great persecution would come on him through the judges and through the law and all these people trying to sue him and all this stuff. But there would be a stop to it, and things would start to break free come toward the fall. And then I saw him winning the election. Through the Patriots coming out and voting, and then there will be a great economy crash. Yeah. I saw they had a great economy plan, a crash, worse than the Great Depression. And the Lord warned me about this. It would be a great dark time. But I saw paddles coming upon America's soil like a shocking of the soil. And I saw Donald Trump praying in the office of the Oval Office, and he was weeping before the Lord with his hands on his head like this, but he was weeping. And there was ministers and people. I don't know if they were senators or Congress people or whatever. I just saw them pacing and back and forth inside of the White House. What is the White House? But it's the Oval Office. Yeah. And they were interceding all inside there, and I could feel the presence of the Lord so strong on this. And then I could see that darkness that was the heaviness upon America with the financial crisis of what I saw coming. It started to lift above the trees, and I saw the blue and the things coming back out, and the green times and the good times coming back again. But the Lord said it would be forth a time of a season of a shaking, and it would be a shaking to awaken. And in this, this would basically that He was not done with America. There would be a great revival come, and it's not all doom and gloom. That's what He said. The sky's not falling. There's a time of, it's like people would say, this is judgment. And the Lord said, do not call this judgment. It's not my judgment. It's a correction. There's correction coming.
I want to ground it in the Word of God. The timing of what Brandon just said is very much in the Revelation 6 timeline. We've gone through the white horse. We're going through the red horse. And the black horse is the next one. I want to talk about the green horse afterwards. Remind me of that. The black horse is the financial.
And of course, there was some who were saying that Ephesians 6 or 7, that the exact time that Donald Trump was shot, put the full armor of God so that you can take a stand against the devil's schemes. Now, I'm not a Christian, as you all know, but that was pretty freaky. And we have seen it was mentioned in that prophecy, a reference in that prophecy by Brandon Biggs, the cases against Trump. It was dismissed, the Trump classified documents case by Florida federal district judge Eileen Cannon. And of course, he's sentencing in the hush money case has been deferred until September because of the Supreme Court decision about presidential immunity. So, and the Democrats, they're realizing that the 34 felonies isn't working anymore. Now, like I said, it's like everything is back to normal with Trump rallying. He's not paranoid at all, but the rally in Rapid Falls was indoors. It looked visibly shaken, emotional at the RNC. But one thing I did notice that was very different, the Trump at Grand Rapids at his rally, it was that he finally acknowledged that his hair is a comb over.
You know, I have to just interject. If you would turn off those cameras, because I don't want this. See the screen up there of me? That's very severe, that comb over. That's a severe sucker. What's with that one? It looks okay from the other side. But that is very severe. I apologize. Man, I looked up there. I said, whoa. Look at that. Wow. That's like a work of art. Only look at that one. Don't look. That one looks.
So he's finally admitted it, that that's not his natural hair. That there is, it's a lot of people said it's either a wig or it is weird a comb over or a hair transplant. Now, like I said, we still have no. Well, we're told there's no motive for Thomas Matthew Crooks. We are hearing more people who knew him from school and at the shooting range, and the thing is, a lot of them could be lying, but there has been another bit of footage that has come out, which is Thomas Matthew Crooks. It's been told that he was bullied at school, and I'll play you this.
6'4". I go to Stanford University. I have a 10-inch penis, and 6'4". I go to Stanford University. I have a 10-inch penis.
Now that seems to me like they're bullying him. They're like he thinks that he's saying something cool, but you can see they're doing the bunny ears behind him there. So I know that Bill Maher called him a loser. Said he looked like McLovin. Bill Maher was also savage about the evangelizing of Trump's survival. One of his films was Religulous, which of course is a pun on ridiculous, and Bill Maher does go after all of the religions. So Islam, Christianity, Judaism. Now, like I mentioned, there's all the billionaires behind Trump now. Elon Musk giving him $45 million a month. Elon Musk is now moving Tesla, SpaceX, X Corp over from California because Gavin Newsom has signed a law that allows children to be transitioned without their parents' knowledge. I thought that was already illegal in California because it's the law in Victoria. Not that I think that's a good law, but we sort of here in Victoria think that everything culturally Marxist that's introduced here has been tried in California first. So it's quite horrific that actually Gavin Newsom might have been inspired by Victoria's law where children can be trans without their parents' knowledge. Now, the fact that there are a lot of various conspiracy theories, blue anon, this upset over here in Australia our e-safety commissioner, Julie Inman Grant. She clearly wants to control information, the worldwide information. This was her at New South Wales Government House talking about Trump And RFK Jr. Is spreading misinformation. And then she talks about the misinformation about the assassination attempt.
During his presidency, Donald Trump not only savagely abused foes online with impunity, but was identified as a major superspreader of mis and disinformation. However, his online audience was so sizable and his content went so viral that none of the major platforms suspended him for repeated policy violations, making excuses for vaguely worded exceptions for public figures. A 2021 analysis of 120,000 posts and tweets on Facebook and Twitter found that there was just a small collection of only 12 individuals and their organizations responsible for the vast majority of anti-vax COVID misinformation circulating on the global internet during the lockdown. Whilst Donald Trump could not claim that dubious distinction of being named one of the disinformation dozen, another U.S. presidential candidate, Robert Kennedy Jr., is amongst them. Again, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter failed to enforce persistent violations of their own House rules until the incitement of online violence so clearly spilled into real-world harm that they were forced to act. Even this past weekend, where we saw political leaders of all stripes condemning the political violence brought so clearly into focus by the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, the unhinged fringe and conspiracy theorists spun mistruths more quickly than the government and journalists could uncover and report the facts. And this came from both the right and the left. So we saw a combination of trending hashtags of both civil war and fake assassination trending across social media in a matter of moments. And even so, we are blessed with instant access to almost limitless information at our fingertips, but we've never been more distrustful of it. Indeed, the online world is starting to resemble an ever-expanding desert of misinformation with very few oases of truth in which we can find refuge.
I would say, Julian and Grant, Karen, that people being more skeptical of information, less trustful, is a good thing, because after the Trump attempted assassination, we made sure that we were skeptical of a lot of the information that was coming out. It's just something that we've learned. But you saw that Julia Mann Grant, she also believes that she should be the Ministry of Truth, that social media should take down Donald Trump and RFK Jr.'s lies. Does she know that the Australian government's proposed mis and disinformation bill excludes political parties? Obviously, we shouldn't have a mis and disinformation bill at all. But how can you have a democratic election when you have politicians' statements can be censored because they're deemed misinformation? This is also why truth in political advertising laws are also bad. Now, also touring Australia at the time was Tenacious D, made up of Biden shill Jack Black, who's obviously more famous for being a Hollywood actor, and his bandmate Kyle Gass. And at their Newcastle show, it was Kyle Gass's birthday, and he decided to make a birthday wish. There's something wrong here with. Can everyone hear me still? There was a bit of a glitch there. Anyway, I've got the footage now.
Happy birthday, dear Kyle. Happy birthday to you. Make a wish, Kyle. Don't miss Trump next time.
Now, you saw Jack Black there. He laughed there, but he later said he was blindsided and so cancelled the rest of Tenacious D's tour. Ralph Babette, Senator of the Victoria United Australia Party, said they should be deported. Well, they self-deported themselves. Kyle Gass was dropped by his talent agency. He apologized, but then deleted it. Jack Black obviously wants to save his Hollywood career, so he's basically, said, I disavow. We're putting our creative plans on hold. But also, what went to air last Monday was this a question from Have You Been Paying Attention? That's that Working Dog quiz comedy show hosted by Tom Gleisner. So this clip has been deleted from all 10 social media channels. So, well, the internet is forever. So that's why I saw the clip. So, yeah, I showed it to you then. Yeah, of course, this is the thing about the radical, progressive, unhinged Antifa left. So many of them have not taken a step back, and obviously, Libs of TikTok has been on a cancel rampage, getting fired. A number of people who said that they were disappointed that Thomas Matthew Brooks missed, and so there's been a lot of talk about, we shouldn't practice cancel culture because that's something that we need to end. I saw that Francis Foster of Trigonometry criticized her for that. He's got an interview with Konstantin Kissin on trigonometry. I'm not going to watch that because it looks like a load of another one of their pretentious crap. I digress. But of course, it's interesting now. I saw that Sally Rugg said, this is cancel culture calling for the deportation of Tenacious D. But these are the people that not her specifically, but people with similar views of her. They have wanted people who hold conservative, nationalist, libertarian views to be cancelled, fired from their jobs, deported for years and years. But all of a sudden, when it's somebody they like, or it's speech that they don't particularly find offensive, even though it's calling for the assassination of a presidential candidate, all of a sudden, cancel culture is bad. My position is if the person who is calling for assassination is, say, a teacher, police officer, works in medicine, CFO, a CEO, I think that it is fair enough to get them fired because they are in an influential position which they can potentially abuse if they hold views where they believe it's okay to murder a candidate that you don't like. But if there's somebody who works at Home Depot, for example, or an accountant or gardener, I don't think that you need to go that far. I mean, yes, these people they have abhorrent views, but I wouldn't want to make them completely destitute, is my position there. Now, I will say that it's different. There's a difference between saying that somebody should shoot Trump and saying that I hope he dies. Saying you hope someone dies is not a death threat. It's because you're not advocating somebody to harm another person. So if you're saying, I hope you die of a heart attack, I hope you choke one day, that's not a death threat because you're just hoping that there's an accident. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. Now, almost the entire show. Now, at the RNC, were 2 unemployed ex-British prime ministers. One was Boris Johnson, who now believes that Donald Trump can bring an end to the Russia-Ukraine war, the war that the war that when he was prime minister, perpetuated by sabotaging the peace process. I am more convinced than ever that Trump had the strength and bravery to save Ukraine and end this appalling war. The nerve of that man. And Liz Truss was there. She was being chased around by some Channel 4 reporter who asked, "Why are you here?" She should have replied, "Why are you here?" Channel 4 is a British news service, and the news agents that it's hosted by ex-BBC journalists. It's the most appalling podcast in all of Britain, like worse than The Project and all of these other appalling shows in Australia, left-wing shows combined. It is an abhorrent podcast. And one of I can't remember her name, was asking Nigel Farage, "Why are you here?" And he said, "To support my friend." Is he okay? He almost died. Because the minute Nigel Farage sets foot outside of Clacton, "Why aren't you in Clacton?" He's the leader of a political party. Are they asking Keir Starmer, "Why aren't you in your electorate? Why you're at NATO?" Now, Keir Starmer, he invited Vladimir Zelensky to 10 Downing Street and to be part of a cabinet meeting while over in Leeds, the suburb of Hare Hills was on fire, and it was triggered by the authorities removing 5 Romani children, the Roma people, otherwise known as gypsies, from their parents for child endangerment and child neglect. This is the family here.
This guy is not been home. Yeah. Okay, he's been work. One of child is dropped on the floor. Okay, by other kids. All right. Yeah. The kids is not cry. When mom is come back to see the kids, is not see anything what's happened. After one day, on the morning, to see the kids is swollen on his head. Every parent has action. What's going on? Yeah. The kids is been to the hospital. Okay. Yeah.
Been checked out.
They check out.
Full X-rays. Yeah.
If the question is, if the parents they knows these things he did himself, do you think the parent take the kids to the hospital?
Definitely not. No.
Not. Okay. The officer who is in charge, is refusing to investigate. Okay? Yeah. We send email, we did complain, everything by legal law. Still they no answer. The neighbor they tried to give evidence what's going on. What happened? The officer say to the parents on the extra children, they say, "You try to kill yourself, your kids." Yeah. How can you say I'm trying to kill my kids? This is all this happened. So they take the kids
today.
Yes.
By force.
By force. Okay. They take the kids by force. On the social worker, they make the paper and lie, but no anyone investigate if they do the right the paper.
Yeah, it's biased. It's all one-sided.
Not. Yeah. Everything is fake. On the police, on sergeant from the Ellen Road, he did it, and he say, "I don't care, no anyone they can do to me." Because the government, minister, they no investigate them. Yeah. Can you send message by the government to see what's going on? Because all this is being fraudulent.
So apparently just a giant racist conspiracy to steal these Romani children. And of course, that his convincing performance led to these riots across Leeds where a police car was overturned and a double-decker bus was torched.
We on TikTok live, bro? Yeah, man. Let me say, welcome to the live.
And the West Yorkshire police, oh well, their riot squad was so they came in so prepared that they had to retreat. Of course, West Yorkshire Police is the home of lesbian Nana, first a international fame by arresting a 16-year-old autistic girl for saying she looked like a lesbian Nana, and then of course was trying to quell a neighborhood disturbance with pepper spray. Get back! They needed her there. She would have been able to control it all with their pepper spray, but. Don't worry, West Yorkshire Police, they did arrest a white woman for causing a disturbance.
Whatever the fuck it wants! If you were German, you'd fucking... Do you want to get across the road if you can, guys? You get across the road, there's a thing. Guys, don't follow I don't need to all follow, do we? I've got one female.
Yeah, she's getting arrested, guys.
Now, we did get a statement from the Twat Valley Police, Sergeant Peter Pispot, of course, played by comedian Andrew Lawrence, about the Leeds unrest.
Hello, I'm Sergeant Constable Detective Officer Peter Pispot from Twat Valley Police. Assalamu alaikum. Many of you will be aware of the unfortunate unrest occurring in the vibrant Hare Hills area of Leeds on Thursday evening, where a police car was tipped over and a bus was set on fire in a boisterous display of cultural enrichment. As you will all know, diversity is our strength, and on this occasion there was a diversity of violent criminal acts being carried out by some largely peaceful residents of the Hare Hills community. The Leeds police took swift action in as much as they ran away from the scene of the rioting incredibly quickly and haven't been back since. It's not known who exactly was committing these acts of disorder in Hare Hills. Some have suggested it was the Romani community, but the more likely explanation is that it was the bigoted far right. What's clear is that no one whatsoever from the Islamic community was involved in the rioting. Yes, Hare Hills is predominantly made up of fractured migrant communities that are struggling to integrate, but by and large they're good people, and what we're dealing with here is just several hundred bad apples. I myself have not been to Leeds in my capacity as a police officer because it's only somewhere they send you if your career's going badly. But what I will say is this is a wake-up call for local government in Leeds and our national government in Westminster. What Hare Hills needs is more investment, and what the wonderfully diverse communities of Hare Hills need are more benefits. How can we expect these people to make a social contribution if we're not prepared to pay for their house and the upkeep of their 6 disabled kids? These people have come to Hare Hills in good faith, believing we were going to give them handouts forever. And as decent-minded British people, we need to honour that commitment and stop the persecution. Otherwise, who knows how many more innocent buses will have to die. If you see someone of ethnicity starting street fires or vandalising an abandoned police vehicle, please do remember to be kind. And as always, don't engage in any discriminatory behaviour. As always, keep your eyes peeled for far-right bigots. Thoughts and prayers. Don't look back in anger. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. Kumbaya.
Yes, I'm surprised, yes, that Andrew Lawrence hasn't been arrested and jailed yet, even though Keir Starmer, one of his first moves is to release a whole bunch of violent and sex criminals. There's still room for thought criminals and also comedy criminals such as Alex Belfield. So, yeah, he might be living on borrowed time, Andrew Lawrence. And there was also unrest in Whitechapel in London because the violent protests that have erupted in Bangladesh over it's over a quota the quota system for government job recruitment. Bangladesh is a democracy in name only, so there's been several hundred protesters who've been killed there, and so even though they're supposed to be British, those of Bengali descent who are living in London, they are bringing their country's conflict to the streets of London, which is not what is not what we're not sold about melting pot diversity. Well, the double-decker bus is melting due to the fire. I guess that's what is meant by melting pots there. Though there was some surprising justice dished out to some Just Stop Oil protesters over a plot to block the M25 motorway that saw over 50,000 hours of vehicle delay. So its co-founder Roger Hallam has been jailed for 5 years and 4 others activists for 4 years. Now, of course, when this happens, this is a anti-democratic, anti-freedom. They don't like it when they are imprisoned. This is the same with these. They're more than like here in Australia. The radical left, Antifa. They love the police beating up freedom protesters, but don't you touch trans-Tifa and pro-Palestine protesters. And also, there has been the imprisonment of Wall Street Journal journalist Evan Gershkovich for 16 years in Russia for espionage. Of course, how dare Russia? Only the United States is allowed to imprison journalists over espionage, such as Julian Assange. And again, the hypocrisy of News Corp. Evan Gershkovich didn't do nothing but Assange. Very bad. And of course, Russia in the past week bombed a children's hospital in Ukraine. How dare they? Only Israel is allowed to do that and get away with it. Now, I've well gone over I try to keep the show now an hour and a half. So we still have in Australia ongoing the CFMEU scandal, which of course was triggered by 60 Minutes, The Age and Sydney Morning Herald's report fronted by Nick McKenzie called Building Bad. So the Jacinta Allen Labor government, they have appointed a former federal court judge to conduct a review. I should say former Department of Justice Secretary Greg Wilson. He will lead a government review of Victoria's construction sector. Now, the federal government, they want to appoint a administrator to oversee the restructure of the construction division of the CFMEU, but the union is not having it at all. We don't know who the administrator will be yet. We also had Maureen Faruqi. She is threatening to sue the Australian newspaper for Johanna Sleek's cartoon of her with a Hamas green headband. So what's the big deal? Just a bit of paint. And so in response, Johanna Sleek had another one. What made you so cross, Maureen? I've been satirized in a cartoon. You wouldn't understand. And we also had during the week, Lydia Thorpe wore a green headband which had been sent to her, which had in Arabic, "I love chalky milk," but she deleted it because people thought that it was a pro-Hamas one, and she said she didn't want to cause any upset. Now, of course, a Friday afternoon Australian time is when the Crowdstrike Microsoft worldwide outage affected us. Now, I was at home. I just got back from filming some reports from Tiger Mountain with Richard Walshcroft. The first is up. His discussion of Trump assassination theories. The next one, we recorded one on the assumption that Biden would step down, and so that will be the next one to go out. Now, I have Apple products, and so it didn't affect me, just like the Optus outage didn't affect me because I'm not with Optus here. So I just saw the chaos being reported a bit. It was a big deal for the media because their networks went down. And of course, if it's something that affects the media, then it didn't stop the media getting their reporters to airports and supermarkets because, of course, a lot of the registers went down. In my opinion, there should be an analog backup in these sorts of cases. Certainly, if you needed another reason not to support to push back, I should say, against digital ID, central bank digital currencies, and to keep cash alive, this is it. I sort of believe that major retailers, supermarkets, they should keep some of those old school registers out the back for in case their systems do go down, they can still put through transactions. Because major corporations, supermarkets, media companies, they have, if the power goes down, they have backup generators. But if their computer systems go down, then they're completely fucked. And with a lot of the digital switchovers, old analog systems like radio, like the police radio sort of things, those sorts of things. I think they still have police radios and ambulance radios, but those are the sort of systems that I'm talking about, analog systems. They should still exist so we still have a backup. Linda Hunter says, "Oh yes, now not time to mention the short trading on Truth Social." Yes, that was another thing that was noticed there, and of course, this all occurred after Trump had given his acceptance speech. And now CrowdStrike, so they provide cybersecurity for Microsoft systems. It's 25% market share. And this is why there was so many outages worldwide. The media, they were vultures at airports, constantly harassing stranded airline passengers, asking them things. I should just tell them to piss off. This was the ABC's tech expert. She looked like an Oompa Loompa with horrific, bobbed, dyed red hair. She looked like the Oompa Loompa from that terrible Scotland Willy Wonka experience there. Now, is this another DEI disaster? Because CrowdStrike has its own commitment to DEI. We are committed to fostering a culture of belonging where everyone feels seen, heard, valued for who they are, and empowered to succeed. Our approach to cultivating a diverse, equitable, and inclusive culture is rooted in listening, learning, and collective action. By embracing the diversity of our people, we achieve our best work and fuel innovation, generating the best possible outcomes for our customers and the community and ourselves. Well, you completely failed in that, completely. And Microsoft, they are also hugely into DEI. Bill Gates may have left the corporation, but again, Bill Gates, he is for the digitization of the world. Yet, I mean, Microsoft systems for years have been infected by viruses, and now the system's designed to keep out viruses and cyber attacks on Microsoft computers. It was a faulty update. This is why it's called Y2K24, because one single faulty update crippled so much of the world. But this is, have you seen this Microsoft DEI video? This was quite incredible.
Hello, everyone. I'm Natalie Gadilla. I'm a Caucasian woman with long blonde hair, and I go by she, her. I'm a product marketing lead here at Microsoft and co-host of the podcast Security Unlocked with this guy.
Yes, that would be me. Hello, everyone. I'm Nick Fillingham. I'm a Caucasian man with glasses and a beard. I go by he, him, and I'm a security evangelist here at Microsoft. We are so excited to be with you.
Hello and welcome to Microsoft Ignite. We've got a big day ahead and lots in store for you. First, we want to acknowledge that the land where the Microsoft campus is situated was traditionally occupied by the Sammamish, the Duwamish, the Snoqualmie, the Suquamish, the Muckleshoot, the Snohomish, the Tulalip, and other Coast Salish peoples since time immemorial. A people that are still here, continuing to honor and bring to light their ancient heritage. My name...
I think that's where Kamala Harris got the idea to say, well, they say the pronouns and then they say what they look like for blind people. But given that the blind people can't see them anyway, why is it necessary to still describe it there? That's apparently the reason. All right, to finish this off, I might do a quick sports report. Did you see our swimming Olympians last week arrive in Paris still wearing masks? Now there has been another AFL player suspended for using the word faggot. This was in a VFL match. St Kilda player Lance Collard used the word faggot 10 times in a game, but he was only suspended for 8 weeks. Did he get a discount because he happens to be an Aboriginal? He shouldn't, because there was 3 weeks for Jeremy Finlayson for saying faggot once, and then he plays for Port Adelaide, and Will Powell of the Gold Coast Suns for saying it once 5 weeks. So shouldn't it be, at least if you said it 10 times, at least get 10 weeks? Now, also in the news was Captain Woke. I don't mean the Australian cricket captain, Pat Cummins. I mean Collingwood captain Darcy Moore, who has been dating Triple J host Dee Salman since last year. And she decided to say on the hookup program that she and Darcy Moore, they haven't moved in together, but when they do, they will sleep in separate bedrooms because they don't want to conform to heteronormative, learned patriarchal behaviors. And so this was in conversation with Yumi Steins, of all people, that the author of that Welcome to Sex book. said, I don't live with my partner at the moment. We both have such difficult, independent, busy lives. We get to have so much of what we have when we were single in our relationship, but I wonder how much you can actually upkeep that when you end up living together. And so much of it is just a heterodynamic patriarchal learned behaviors that it just might fall into. She worries about how much independence a woman can lose when making a decision to move in with her partner. And so she says that so Stein said to Salman, asking if we should all live separately to our partners. I'm going to be doing it for as long as possible. I also said to my partner to have separate bedrooms. So, and Darcy Moore, he is in terrible form at the moment. They had a 66-point thrashing to Hawthorn on the weekend, and Darcy Moore basically had butterfingers as the defender kept dropping the ball. And now, yeah, his girlfriend Dee Selman is friends with the singer G Flip and her wife. So I think they also that Darcy Moore and Dee Selman, when they're out and about with G Flip and her wife, get mistaken for a lesbian couple. I mean, Darcy Moore does look like he is transitioning. And last year, he told Patricia Karvelis on the ABC that he was voting yes to the Voice referendum, which of course failed, and guest hosted the project for one night. So even Ricky T, who is he puts Collingwood ahead of his principles. So he didn't boo the Welcome to Country at the 2023 AFL Grand Final because he feared getting kicked out before the game started. But even Ricky T said that Darcy Moore sounded like such a faggot. Now, also finish off with a brief health update. So there's been a cluster of human bird flu cases at a poultry farm in Colorado in the United States. So farm workers who are culling infected chickens, and of course this is the H5N1 bird flu is called highly pathogenic avian influenza. The CDC said there's no evidence of human to human transmission, and the risk to the public is low, but the media have said this is the biggest human bird flu outbreak. There was a case of bird flu in Colorado back in 2022, which it might have been the South Park chicken lover. Has anyone seen it's one of the early South Park episodes where the fruitcake who runs the mobile library has sex with a bunch of chickens and leaves written clues for Officer Barbrady to help him to learn to read. So I wondered if the first case, the chicken lover, was back on the loose there. But it's these now these farm workers, they all have mild symptoms. The most prominent symptom is pink eye. So for something which is highly pathogenic and is going to lead to a even worse pandemic than COVID if it starts transmitting human to human, they've all got mild symptoms. So I've been wanting bird flu to do something for over 2 years now. Obviously, they've got the vaccines ready to go, and even though they don't know which one's going to cause the pandemic yet, of course, if they can't get their pandemic, then they can just decimate the food supply, whether it be chickens or cattle, because it's been infecting cattle now, or also pigs, because remember swine flu. And also to finish off, there is a fresh monkeypox outbreak in Victoria, and which has been driven by local transmission. So the Chief Health Officer of Victoria, Claire Looker, is urging Victorians to create sex bubbles and maintain contact details of all their sexual partners to curb an outbreak of Mpox. Remember, that's the new, because apparently monkeypox is racist, stigmatizing. And so there has been 76 cases of monkeypox detected over the past 3 months, with just 8 cases for all of 2023. And of course, is almost exclusively between men who have sex with men. So it has here that Australia recorded the 4th highest number of monkeypox cases in the world, behind the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which is a more infectious, deadly clade, United States and Spain. So they quote a Sydney man in his 20s who spoke to this masthead on the condition of anonymity, contracted the disease in late June after traveling to Melbourne for a sex party. His symptoms included stomach cramps, frequent trips to the toilet, muscle aches, headache, excruciating pain in his anus, which later discovered to be caused by lesions. So yes, thankfully there is 100% PPE that can protect you from monkeypox. It's called underwear, wearing a mask around your genital area, and not attending a sex party. So yes, of course, remember when monkeypox first was being transmitted into the West in 2022, they tried to claim that this was going to be the new pandemic, even though it was very clear from the beginning that it was almost exclusively the men who have sex with men community, which is the medical term for homosexual male community. I'm just reporting the news. I mean, well, Victoria again giving California, San Francisco a run for its money. Sorry to leave you on that note, but thank you all again for watching. Remember, I can't do all of these shows without your support, so you can take out to support the work of the Unshackled by taking out a premium membership at the unshackled.net/membership. So bronze $5 per month, silver $10 per month, gold $25 per month, platinum $50 per month, or you can take out a subscription over at Substack. So that's the unshackled.substack.com/subscribe. So I use Substack for sending out email alerts for upcoming live Unshackled productions, and also reports from Tiger Mountain. So like I said, there'll be another one this week. And I still use the unshackled.net for publishing articles. So make sure you can subscribe to the Substack for free, or support $50 per year, or $5 per month, or become a founding member for $500 per year. And also remember that to help with the algorithm, leave a comment, like, thumbs up, because it all helps, and also share around as well, because like I said, it sort of vanished for a while. The live link on my YouTube channel was very bizarre. Now, there'll be no Reality Check Radio Wilms report this week on Paul Brennan's breakfast program on Reality Check Radio. He's moving to Queenstown in a new studio, but I'll be back with him next week. And of course, Dewey DeBoer, my former Trad Tasman Talk co-host, is host the dialogue every Friday over on Reality Check Radio for a couple of hours. I will put the link into the live chat here. I've gone well over time here. Thank you much, as everyone, for there's the Reality Check Radio website here. Thank you also very much for sticking by for this extended show. So much news. There's no Wilms front interviews lined up, but I will let you know if there is. New report from Tiger Mountain coming up later this week. And also don't forget to subscribe. I'll be back for Tim's News Explosion next Monday, same time, 9 p.m. on the Wilms front, YouTube, Odyssey, and Rumble. Good night, everybody. Stay safe, stay warm. It's still bloody cold. Stay sane, stay optimistic, and I'll see you again soon. Tim's News Explosion. 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 Tim's News Explosion.